Yeah, so my woes at home, bro, it's just like crazy. And the yellow head man has just walked in, Grant Hines. I see him in the mirror, he's super amped.
But we've decided Grant Hines is a professional. He's a professional.
You've just decided.
Yeah.
Oh,
they're
wow.
pretenders and professionals, you know. Okay.
Yeah, he did some good stuff. And we are coming to you on the 73rd episode of the Overclocked podcast, Overclocked ZA, all the vowels, everything's in there. You found us, so you're listening to us, and we're preaching to the choir right now. But tell your friends, please.
We're also looking out over an exceptionally green, forested Johannesburg Central, having just attended the launch for Samsung's new hot-as-anything flagship phones, which we'll tell you about
The
in a
Galaxy
minute.
S20 family. I am Lindsey Schutters, Sharpshooters on social media, SHARPSCHUTTERS. You probably saw a lot of my tweets go wild last night. I was live tweeting the event. It was quite crazy. I'm joined as always by my good friend and editor of Tech Magazine.
You can slow down.
Gavin,
You're not live tweeting anymore. You can slow down.
I think the coffee just hit, and the ambient noise has just gone up at least 5 decibels.
Yeah.
Oh wow! You're just gonna bang, 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 bang.
Yeah. We're in the breakfast room of the hotel we stayed at.
Yeah,
so
but
excuse
let's
us.
just give a rundown. So last night there were 4 devices launched: the S20, the S20 Plus, the S20 Ultra, and then the Galaxy Z Flip or Z Flip, depending on which side of the pond you are on.
Yes. So of these, the Z Flip is probably the revolutionary product. I don't like calling things revolutionary because they're not. They're very evolutionary. But it was, for me, a kind of a breakthrough product. A lot of things came together in the Z Flip. It's not just another phone, guys.
It is just another phone. It just folds in half.
No. You've just stolen all my thunder. Thank you.
It now has a glass screen,
so
which is
imagine
great.
this.
That's a proper progression for the industry.
So if you try and remember when Samsung launched its previous folding phone, which was
A year
called the
ago.
Fold, which ran into several problems along the way, the screen was actually made of plastic. It had plastic covering on the front. The screen was made of plastic. That was the only way they could get the screen to fold. They've now developed glass that folds like plastic. Extraordinary. And so here's how you imagine the experience, okay? You're looking at a regular smartphone. It's got a massive screen, 6.4 inches. Massive, beautiful, bright, glossy screen. And then you fold it in half and put it in your pocket. It's amazing! It's amazing.
It's like the clamshell phones of yore.
Exactly. Okay. So there are only so many people who remember owning clamshell phones. I'm one of them. But as someone who doesn't get excited about every new thing that comes along, I can't deny I saw the folding clamshell smartphone working for me. It's beautiful to look at, as you can imagine. It's glass all round, so it's super glossy, shiny.
And it has this little teeny tiny outside display when it's folded, where you can launch. It shows you like probably the first 2 characters of your message.
A little more than that. So without having to open the phone, the little screen on the outside shows you incoming messages, the time, notifications.
But it's really
that kind of
tiny.
thing.
And then you can even turn it into a selfie screen.
Yeah, that's right. It's a full color screen, so it'll actually show you pictures of people you photograph.
But it's like a full color screen for ants. Like you really have to picture,
Okay.
like look at your watch and then bring it down by like
half.
more than half.
It's half the size of a watch screen. Okay, that's not really the point. The point is that the phone folds in half with a glass screen. There's no seam in the middle. It's a continuous screen of glass from top to bottom.
Again,
bigger than your average smartphone screen and foldable.
I dig a lot of the engineering that's gone into this. They put like these little brush type things, fibers around the hinges so that the dust can't get in there. It's very interesting. It's glass. It's a folding pane of glass. It's incredible. I mean, they haven't outed who made the glass for them yet, but it's probably Corning. It's probably a Gorilla Glass type sort of
Well,
thing.
Samsung claims to have made their own glass. I don't think they literally made the glass themselves. I think they may have done the actual R&D on it.
Possibly,
which is extraordinary.
But again, it's the worst of all worlds. It's last year's specifications inside.
Like, who cares?
It's super expensive. It's 30 grand.
It is outrageously expensive for what it is.
It has that tiny little useless display
Which
on
I'm
the
not going to
outside.
use anyway. It's irrelevant.
So I owned 3 generations of Razer, right? I even had like the crap one, the 360, the poor one, poor people's one.
The Motorola Razr was the definitive flip phone back in the 90s, the late 90s.
And that had a useful little outside display on it.
Oh yeah, proper thumb-sized square.
Yes.
And Grant Hines has come over to encourage us. Give us
Sorry,
a word.
I wasn't sure this was like a meeting, but it is. Hi guys, what's up?
So again, like folding phones just have the worst of all. So now you have like something that doesn't have an IP rating, something that is probably going to get dust inside it and break. There's so many points of possible failure on this device. It's beautiful that it is, but when it's closed in the form that it will be most of its life, you can't do anything with it.
No, but you don't want to do anything with it. That's the beauty of it. When it's closed, you are offline. You're not being distracted by the screen lighting up beeps and things. When it's closed, you're done. You open it, you interact, you close. You know, you actually disconnect from it. That's what I like about it. Okay, but enough about the square phone. That's called the Samsung Z Flip. 30,000 Rand. I'm not going to say average specs. I'm going to say high specs. They're not top of the world specs.
I'm not going to get into like super specifications on the S20 family. You can read. I put up an editorial this morning on thatopinionguy.co.za. Basically, there are 3 different variants of the Samsung Galaxy S20. There's the S20 Vanilla, which has a 6.2-inch dynamic AMOLED display.
Right.
It has 3 cameras on the back, which are different to the 3 that the S20 Plus has, which is different to the 3 that the S20 Ultra has. They all are 5G capable because the chipsets, the Exynos 990 is a 5G capable chipset. We do not have them switched on in this country because we don't have the regulatory framework, nor do we have a carrier who will let you connect, because Rain is only running it on their routers right now. They're not able to run it. They are dual SIM as far as I can tell, but they use eSIMs, so effectively in our country not dual SIM. It's the only eSIM capable device right now, besides for like a couple of Mercedes models, is the Samsung Galaxy Watch Active 2, the LTE variant. That is also interesting because we finally get the Under Armour edition in South Africa. Under Armour, there was a big call out for Under Armour.
You're all over the place, brother. Can we just get back on the main
everything that was
phones,
launched
man?
last night. Like this is the point that I'm trying to get to, is that there was so much ancillary stuff.
Yeah, sure.
There's so many services, and then like the SA team
and the earbuds, and
they got caught off guard because the US guys were like, and new Galaxy owners will get 6 months of YouTube Premium. And I asked the local contingent, and they were like, dude, we didn't even know about that. And then it was like, there's now Samsung are doing deals with Netflix where you're going to get like special Netflix content.
And all the South African guys are looking at each other.
And they're like, oh no, that's probably 5G dependent, so we're not sure about that.
Okay.
So like, you can go watch the live stream, you can go watch the recaps of it. I put a link to one of the videos that recaps the whole event in my story on thatopinionguy.co.za. Point is, we were told so much and so little at the same time about these devices. It is difficult for me, in the cold, sober light of day, to actually point to one of these devices and say, this is the one you should buy. Because the price is also ludicrous. It's 19,000 Rand.
Now go slowly on the prices, right? So the S20 basic, 19,000.
22.
So on that, you're getting the 6.2-inch screen.
Yes.
Okay, and you're getting a 5 times optical zoom.
Yes, a 48 megapixel telephoto camera.
That's really the outstanding
You are getting
feature.
8K recording.
Okay, and you're getting 5 times optical zoom, right? Okay.
Yes.
Then you step up one phone.
Then it's the S20 Plus, and that's 22,000 Rand. 22,000 Rand. 21,999, as Samsung likes to say. And that you are getting a different set of cameras.
Okay, but
I'm
also
not
the 5 times
sure.
optical zoom. This seems to me to be the one that counts, okay?
Yes.
And then 8K video recording across all. Yes, okay.
Then you're stepping up to the S20 Ultra.
Ludicrous level.
Which at this point should just be a different product
category
line.
altogether,
that is, what is it, 27,000 Rand?
Yes.
It's 26,999.
Which 27,000
So
Rand.
I can almost swallow the bitter pill of these prices because the economy is in such crap. And like what they're packing in, we at a point now where 20,000 Rand phones are the default at the high end of the market.
Sorry, no. Default for who? Okay, I hear what you're saying. But still, I mean,
like
that's ludicrous.
That's the price you're going to pay 20,000 Rand for a brand new phone.
Yes, you might be the person who's got a nice, secure job. Perhaps you're self-employed. Perhaps you're making a lot of money. Perhaps you're driving a nice luxury car, recent model of the last 2 or 3 years, something like that. I still think you've got to question whether you've got 27,000 rand to spend on a phone, man.
Do you need it?
No, you don't. You need to give that money to the poor.
God.
Okay,
Yeah, so
your contract fees are going to come in probably over $1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, well over $1,000.
So the nice thing, or at least the interesting thing about the S20 Ultra is the camera array. So it's a 6.9-inch dynamic AMOLED display with 120 hertz refresh rate, but operating only at 1080p. I'm getting into the weeds here, but the camera array is very interesting. So it has a.
We're talking about the Ultra now. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It has the same sort of periscope zoom thing that the Huawei P30 Pro had. Mm-hmm. So it's like kind of the sensors on its side, and it goes through a prism, and it gets like
allows it to do clever things.
Yeah. So it can zoom up to 30 times lossless.
No, 10 times lossless.
10 times lossless.
10 times lossless.
And then you can, like, through cropping in on the sensor, it gets you up to 100 times zoom, which you really shouldn't be doing.
Yes.
It's digital zoom.
But I mean, just to demonstrate how effective it is, it looks amazing. You might and should never have to zoom to 100 times zoom, frankly.
Yeah. But it's a 108 megapixel sensor.
Sounds right.
It's a half-inch sensor. So what they're doing is really clever, and this is like deep nerdy shit. So most phones will combine like 4 adjacent pixels to make one big bright pixel so that you can like suck in more light and all that stuff. So this thing is combining 9 adjacent pixels. It's called Nonna. Nonna binning. I'm
not a good choice.
Sorry for everyone who calls their grand Nonna.
Not a good choice. That Nonna bin nogal. Yeah, okay.
But it's really clever. But it's so far removed from what you get on the other 2 devices that it's just confusing for the consumer in my perspective.
Yeah.
We're at a point now where you can say S20 and the words will leave your mouth and it will be S20. And the S20 that you have in your mind and the S20 that I have in my mind might be 2 entirely different devices.
Yes. It would be like here's your BMW 3 Series, here's your BMW M3, and here's your Formula 1 car. It's like not the same thing, you know.
Yeah, I think that's actually a great thing. That was the one I was thinking about in the shower this morning that I completely forgot. Where we've reached a point now where the Ultra is like the M3 track ready like CSL thing, and then the 20 Plus is like the 330i with the twin turbo, and then like the 320 or like the baseline model. But and it's like fundamentally 3 different cars. Yes, they do have the same engines. They have the same processors, all those things, but that doesn't really matter to the average consumer.
Yes.
Then this is where a brand like I mean, bring it down. Apple does it really well, where there's very little differentiation.
Yes, okay. It's
between the
bigger
devices.
screen and so on and so on. Okay. So I mean, I think if I can just sort of focus things down for a minute, if we strip off all the fancy bits and pieces, again, blazingly fast phones, 12 gigabyte RAM,
up to
standard
16 gigabytes
across
if
all
you
of
get
them.
the 512.
But really, the big differentiator is not even on the screen; it's on the cameras. So you gotta consider how much camera performance you really need. Everyone thinks they need better and better performance from cameras, but are you the kind of person who's taking those kind of pictures? Remember, the camera itself doesn't make you a great photographer. Okay, maybe you should spend that money on a photography course and get more from the camera you already have.
Are you shaming people for being
I think spending 27,000 rand is frankly verging on shameful. If I encounter you in the wild with that phone, I know the kind of reaction it elicits in me about you. Okay, we're living in a country with a bottomless pit of need. There's got to be something wrong with you in your head. If you think 27,000 rand's okay to spend on a phone. Right, here's my little rant. Okay, I'm done. This is wrong. I mean, it's wrong. It's
even his voice. Did you
it's
hear?
Philosophically wrong. Yes, okay. It's my dogma.
Up an octave.
My dogma drove over your.
Just peek the mics, bro. Anyway, you can read all of that stuff on thatopinion.co.za. I'm sure Gavin will post something up on Tech.
Yes, we've got a little video of the Z phone opening and closing, which looks really pretty, and then we've got a great little video demonstrating the 100 times zoom as well. So that'll be interesting to see. Cool. You can get that on our Facebook page. Do go over there.
Gavin, in other news, Telkom is a little bit salty.
Yes.
Because Vodacom and Liquid Telecoms are about to launch their 5G network, which I have it. There were rumblings last night.
Okay.
About that being the catalyst to then push out the patch that will enable the 5G for Vodacom customers on the new S20 family.
Oh, I see. Okay,
But
right.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Yes. Okay.
These are rumors. Yes, so Telkom's a bit salty because what they wanted, did they want Neotel's spectrum?
Well, Neotel is now Liquid Telecom.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then the old deal where Vodacom was using the 3.5 gigahertz
Yes.
band.
And refarming, yeah.
Yeah. That was struck down. I'm not sure.
No.
You give me the lowdown on.
No, I mean, what I understand is all the heavyweight operators are now limited because they need proper radio band spectrum to run 4G properly and 5G properly. They can barely get the 4G working with the radio spectrum they've got, but the regulator has been very slow to hand this out, almost as if it's some kind of precious national asset, which it is, which they can't just hand out willy-nilly. But they've been so tardy in doing it that there's now a huge inflection point for where the market is suffering and our whole economy is suffering from them not handing out the bandwidth they're supposed to. So now what's happened is a very potent telecoms company called Liquid Telecoms has access to excellent bandwidth that everybody wants. And Vodacom tried to acquire them, not so much for them, but to acquire their bandwidth so that Vodacom can have the frequency spectrum it needs. That was struck down by the Competition Commission. So what it's done is made a kind of sweet deal with Neotel so that Vodacom can now...
Liquid Telecom.
Liquid Telecom, which used to be called Neotel, by the way. So what's going to happen is Liquid Telecom is going to build the 5G network and Vodacom's going to use it almost like a sort of a quid pro quo. Excuse me.
So you're diving into American politics now.
Yes, and that's really upsetting all the other network operators because they don't have a sweet deal to make.
So here's the funniest thing about it is Telkom just made a deal with Vodacom not too long ago to roam on their network. And now Telkom's getting all salty because Vodacom is increasing its. So it's using some of the bandwidth or at least spectrum that it got in the Telkom deal to bring its prices down. And now it's getting into the 5G gig using the Liquid Telecoms and Telkom are like, hey guys, we stuck in this deal right now. But we can't fight you, so we're going to fight you through regulation.
But at the end of this, I mean, we still got a question. Do we need 5G with that level of urgency? I don't think we do, man. I don't think we do. I think we need our 4G to work properly and reliably. We need everybody in the country to get on the network properly and reliably. We need it to be more affordable. And then 5G will come in due course. I don't know what the rush is, really.
I think, so I was reflecting on this. I was looking at how quickly we moved from EGE, so like 2G, through to LTE.
Okay.
And that was in the space of 4 years. 3 generations of iPhone.
I can neither confirm nor deny. I'm still thinking about that.
3 generations of iPhone skipped right through to
4
LTE.
years.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was absolutely crazy. Like that period of innovation, or at least like technology just marching forward.
Actually, you're right. Yes.
Like the 1 year you were still on a feature phone, the next year you got a smartphone, but you couldn't actually watch proper video on your phone yet. And then the next time you upgraded, you got YouTube and...
Okay. I think you're right. I think it was 2006 to 2010 actually was that window. I'm placing it in my mind. Okay, fine.
So again, I don't see what the killer app for 5G is. I know what it's going to enable. It's going to enable a lot more edge computing.
Yes, and I think that's what the networks are after. They're not after you and me, the consumer money. They're after the business money.
Yeah. So what happens is a lot of like your AI stuff gets done, processed on servers. So you have to connect to the server and then come back. So 5G will speed up that connection.
Yes.
And then allow you to do a lot more offline. So
agreed.
Companies can move their infrastructure to like the edges of its wider network.
Yes, I mean that's maybe a technical discussion we should get into sometime. Even understanding the applications for 5G can be a little confusing from business to consumer and so on. It's not just a faster network. There's a whole lot more to it, actually. So maybe we'll get into that some other time.
So like LTE changed the way we consume content.
Yes.
And I think 5G will change the way we do computing.
I think it's going to actually change lifestyles a bit, as well. Okay, so So 5G, yes, fine. But remember, when they go to 5G, first of all, data consumption is going to ramp up.
Yes.
And second of all, it's an excuse for them to keep the data prices where they are because they now argue they have to pay for the new network. But the truth is, if they could just get the 4G working efficiently, everyone, I think, would settle for lower data prices on the older network. But we're not being given that choice. Vodacom is driving 5G as some kind of business imperative. But that's all I have to say on the subject. Yeah.
Other little things, miscellaneous. I've been playing with your Nokia 9 PureView.
Oh, yeah.
Taking a couple of epic camera shots.
Why do your pictures look so much better than mine? Sure, I mean, they really do. Your pictures look so much better than mine.
But also testing out Android's native desktop mode, which is really terrible. Actually.
Oh, okay. I mean, I remember that there was a time you could actually get the Windows phones did Windows in the DeX format. And I don't remember ever trying it. Yeah.
Yes.
And now I'm all salty about the fact that we don't have that
anymore.
Yeah,
so in Android 10 there is a very, very basic bare bones desktop mode thing. You can go into like developer options and you can force it if you connect to an external display, and it's terrible.
I didn't even know it did
It's
that.
absolutely
Jeez.
terrible.
Okay.
Like DeX is a killer app for Samsung store.
Yeah, you've heard us talk about this a lot. This is where you plug your phone into your TV set and you get a whole Windows-like operating system that launches when you do that. And you can run it almost like Windows with a start button.
But it is encouraging that it's being offered on other devices as well. LG apparently in the Android 10 update also have their own version of it.
So what's the... Hang on. So you're saying that this is an Android-developed tool?
Yes.
So it'll be like not Chrome OS, it's just like a different OS?
Yeah, kind of. Just like a different skin.
Okay.
But it's really cartoonish. It's really... It's very early days for it right
but
now.
It's there. Okay,
and I hope there's going to be further development into it.
What is it called?
You can... I think it's just called Force Desktop View.
Okay.
When you go into it, you have to go deep into settings. You have to go into developer options and it's quite an involved process.
Interesting.
To get to it.
All right.
Then,
we'll look into that in a future episode. We explain it for people, give them to try it out.
Yeah, that camera is amazing. I've also switched back, not right now because we're at the Samsung launch, so I'm using my Samsung device, but I've switched back to the LG G7 ThinQ because I couldn't stand the fact that we've now moved to a point where there are no good audio options for smartphones anymore. And I've started to get to higher quality streams in terms of my music listening, and the quad DAC on that thing just makes things sound amazing.
Delivering,
like good headphones, and even the boombox speaker is incredible.
Does it for you? Okay.
And it's a 2-year-old phone now. It still runs well enough. I was playing a very low-level game the other day, and the performance difference was remarkable between my S10 and it.
Okay, I'm bored of your personal
Yes,
experience.
I'm sorry. And then again, I'm trying to fix my home network, trying to cut the cord for multi-choice, running everything on Chromecast. And then Telkom just can't get its act together on the exchanges because when there's load shedding, the batteries can't charge properly or something goes down and then it takes them like 2 days to fix it.
Man, load shedding is messing with our connectivity big time and we're all suffering. We're in together, guys, mostly.
Gavin, what's going on your side?
No, I want to... I was going to report on the SWOAN thing, but I think it'll carry for next week. We'll talk about it next week. Nothing much to report. The edition of the magazine we're working on at the moment is what we call the Digital Arts Edition. It's an edition we're carrying to Comic-Con in Cape Town, which is like, a big pop culture festival, maybe the biggest in the country. We like to produce a special edition of the magazine for that, which points to careers you could have in the digital arts, whether it's sound engineering, videography, or something more overtly creative like design and graphic design and so on.
Yeah, you did one last year as well.
Yes, we do one every year, and that's what's coming up at the moment. So we're busy.
I think I helped you out with the
that.
stylus stuff last year.
You did. But this year you're going to interview a really interesting guy who's developed a special, what is the word I'm looking for? Not a codec. A way of creating 12.1 surround sound. And he's got a startup that has been so successful, half of it's moved to Hong Kong. But you're going to do the interview for us with that guy.
But right now, I need to head off. I need to go interview Richard Shah, CEO of Liquid Telecom.
Liquid Telecoms, he's the guy we discussed who's building the 5G
network.
network.
I did send through a question framework, but I think I might spice in a couple of the...
Yes.
Just at the end, and then run away when the security starts chasing me. So I'm gone. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, over and out next week. Bye.